Disclaimer: the following content is fictional and created for entertainment purposes only. It does not represent actual events or testimony. The courtroom went completely quiet when Will Smith walked in. Nobody was expecting him. Everyone stared as the famous actor walked toward the front of the room. Reporters sat up straight. Lawyers looked confused. And Diddy, who had been calm throughout the trial, suddenly looked worried. Will walked straight to the witness stand, no eye contact with anyone. He didn't even glance at Diddy. "I wasn't asked to come here today," Will began. "I asked if I could speak." This was a big change in a trial that was already full of shocking stories. For months, people had whispered about other celebrities who might be connected to Diddy. Smith's name had come up sometimes, but he had never said anything publicly. Until now. "I've kept a lot inside for a long time," he said. "I've laughed on red carpets. I've won awards. I've made movies about honor and strength. But none of that can hide what I saw, what I experienced, and who made it happen." He turned just slightly toward Diddy. "You did." Will Smith told the courtroom that it started like many Hollywood stories do, with an invitation. It came through a mutual contact, someone I'd worked with before. The way they framed it, it was supposed to be a celebration. Diddy's birthday. Nothing wild, just music, networking, a place where stars could unwind. I'd been to things like that before, so I didn't question it. But the moment Will arrived, he knew something was off. It was at this massive mansion in the hills. Black SUVs at the front, security everywhere. The second I stepped inside, my phone was taken. That should have been the first red flag. They said it was for privacy, to protect the guests. But it felt like something else, like they didn't want anything getting out. He was ushered inside. The lights were dim, the music low and strange, ambient, rhythmic, almost hypnotic. There were no cameras you could see, but there were mirrors everywhere. It felt like someone was always watching. Will said that after a few drinks and some casual conversation, Diddy approached him directly. He said something like, "Now you're part of the family." And he smiled that smile. It wasn't warmth, it was ownership. After talking with several celebrities, Smith said Diddy himself came up to him and suggested they go somewhere more private to talk about working together. "That business talk never happened," Smith said firmly. "What I saw instead was something I've been trying to forget ever since." According to Smith, he was taken to an area where famous people were doing inappropriate things. Some seemed drugged, while others watched. Smith said Diddy was overseeing everything like it was completely normal. The scariest part wasn't just what was happening, Smith testified. It was how normal everyone acted, like this was a regular thing that everyone except me understood. Smith said he felt stuck. He couldn't just leave without making a scene that might hurt his career. He explained, "That's how this whole system works so well. It mixes up professional networking, social pressure, and bad situations until you can't tell where the lines are anymore." The worst part of Smith's story came next. A few days after the party, he got a strange phone call mentioning he was there. Soon after, a package arrived with videos showing Smith at the party, looking confused and out of it. Smith testified, "I heard Diddy's voice on the recording saying something I'll never forget. Now we've got him too. That's when I realized this wasn't just a party, it was about getting dirt on people, something to use against them later." Smith described what happened afterward. Projects he had been promised suddenly fell through. Work friends stopped calling. Gossip about his personal life showed up in magazines with details only insiders would know. "Every time I said no to another invitation, something bad would happen to my career," Smith explained. "It became obvious what was happening. The message was clear: play along or pay the price." Smith told the court he stayed quiet for years because he was afraid and ashamed. "I told myself I was protecting my career, my family, and my reputation. But watching others speak up made me realize my silence wasn't protecting anyone. It was helping keep the system going." The final straw came when Smith found out that recordings from these parties had been turned in as evidence. "Someone I once trusted called me in a panic, warning me that I was in some of the videos shown to the court," Smith revealed. "Videos I never knew existed." Smith said he couldn't sleep that night as everything started making sense. All the pieces fit together: the carefully planned invitations, the weird atmosphere at the parties, the career problems when I stopped going. It wasn't just in my head. It was a carefully planned system to control people. Smith's testimony went beyond his own experience. He described what he called a network of influence that reached throughout entertainment, media, and even big companies. He mentioned specific times when he saw Diddy having unusual access and power in places normally closed to music industry people. This isn't just about bad behavior at private parties, Smith emphasized. It's about how that behavior is used to get leverage over people, and how that leverage turns into power that controls careers, stories in the media, and ultimately what the public sees and hears. Smith told the court he knew speaking out was risky for his career. Before coming to court today, people called to warn me that testifying would make me poison in the industry. 2 companies have already paused their deals with me. A movie I finished has stopped its advertising campaign. Looking at the jury, Smith spoke more strongly. But I'm not here to save my career. I'm here because I can't stay quiet anymore. In the most emotional moment of his testimony, Smith asked if he could speak directly to Diddy. Standing up, he walked toward the defense table. "You built your empire not from talent, but from fear," Smith stated. "You didn't create success. You created a trap where success meant giving up your dignity." Smith pulled out a photo from his jacket. While showing a picture of himself from years ago, he said, "This was taken just before I first came to your world. I've spent years trying to be this person again, someone who still believed in the good of this industry." Turning to the jury, Smith gave his final statement. "This case is bigger than just one person. It makes us look at systems that allow bad behavior to happen behind closed doors. The entertainment industry has the power to shape culture, but that means nothing if that culture is built on forcing people to stay quiet." As Smith left the courtroom, he ignored the whispers and questions from shocked reporters. His last look wasn't at Diddy, but at the jury. 12 regular people now having to decide on serious claims against one of entertainment's most powerful figures. Meanwhile, Diddy's lawyers rushed to control the damage, filing emergency requests to challenge Smith's testimony and stop the media from reporting on it. But as people in the courtroom noticed, the jury's faces showed the impact had already been made. 12 people who had just heard one of Hollywood's biggest secrets were brought into the open.